find out that I dream too much. You might think that that's not possible, but seriously, I dream too much. So much so that I don't even have to sleep to fantasy too much because I've seen so much. I consummated with screens so much that it doesn't take more than one word to trigger obscene scenes beneath this broadcast called my skull, which is a poor shell of protection because there's still 2 holes for films to penetrate and 2 more for sweet nothings to be whispered so ASM articulately. See, this pleasure that I made covenant with when I was young, and even as I'm old, has become something like a distant cousin, grass stained on my memories despite being washed with time, making a beastly reality a walking dead corpse, a lust that has had my body buried beneath blankets that I thought would hide me, that I thought would be a safe house where my eyes were detectives searching the web with no warrant. And one cat called, and here came my culprit. I confided in to help me climb because when asked, secrets can't leave a tongue that doesn't speak sapient language, and this secret was supposed to be buried forever. But this secret was as safe as a donkey's words, as a donkey's human words are impossible, because the hand of God is a black light making even my white lies glow in the darkness of his presence. And this I know from experience. Because I found out, and let me warn you, that when you press into his presence, when you press in, his hands on salvation will have your hard exterior turn to nothing but wax, waiting to be aroma worn by the wind and melted, waiting to be reformed by the Lamb in incredible ways, waiting to be lit and lavished. In other words, tell your secrets they have no business in the same temple as your God. Because when light steps in, they'll be silenced and remain quiet for the exposure of a well worth of secrets left unsaid. And for years, I looked God in his eyes, and I still do this unfortunately at times, and I stayed quiet, with secrets under my tongue, attempting to walk on mercy, yet I drowned in it instead, distracted by light waves that obey the same great God that I serve, making the dark in me micro, and his hand has been a grace offered to pull me out clean continuously. His hand, he is a grace offered to pull you out of your grave continuously, because hope lost in darkness, it's hardly an issue for one who makes his home in mystery. I hope you're hearing me. And if you haven't been listening up until now, please start listening. The things we hide in our shadows, our dumbbells we attempt to carry on our own, spotted by creative sin, sitting itself on a fence trying to pull us in, and light steps in unoffended to clarify a mess of a miscarried purity that was never pure in the first place if it hadn't experienced his touch of revival. Light steps in to pull me off fences despite my defenses, pride raising the bar for how hard I'd have to scrub to be clean enough for repentance, but light stepped in before cleanup, to dine in filth, truth tabled, wrath to drink, not just sorrows away, because not even sin can stay in the mind of light when he steps in, sharing comfortable humiliation, because to be seen this way is uncomfortable and unpleasurable and hate-related, to being seen helpless and naked. Light stepped in and grabbed these pleasure-filled fingers into his and handed over the last stone, him being the only one worthy of a throw in the abomination I made myself to be worthy of its blow. When grace is seated at the table, dressed for a lofty occasion to reinstall his rib back into its rightful location, right beneath the ceiling of his chest, right next to his beating heart, bleeding blood and water, how blind was my being not to sink.
Oh.
And how great. Light steps in. Light steps in and grabs these pleasure-filled fingers into his to hand over the last stone. Him being the only one worthy of a throw, and me being the abomination I've made myself to be worthy of its blow, when grace is seated at the table, dressed for a lofty occasion, to reinstall his rib back to his rightful location. An open space beneath the ceiling of his chest, right next to his beating heart, bleeding blood and water. How blind was my being not to sink? And how great happy to sit in front of me and shine bright like a diamond and simultaneously surround me like a ring fitted perfectly. And all I can say is, have I said too much? Have I seen too much? Have I done too much? And he, not like men who judges from outward appearance, sits here regardless, still. Because this reservation has been in the book since the beginning of the foundation of the world, and I can't cancel on him. This reservation has been in the book since the beginning of the foundation of the world, and I can't cancel on him. Because it's better to stare into the lovely eyes of mercy now than in the passionate eyes of wrath later. This is my repentance.